I'm gonna just start off strong here, okay? Because the season picks up at a place in your relationship that we don't necessarily see. It happens off camera. So talk to me about without giving too much obviously away, about the arc that you guys have this season.
Well, it's there's a little father and son bonding here. Sweet Tooth basically adopts me at some point in the season, but I think Sweet Tooth is definitely Stu's mentor, and he sees something in Stu that maybe Stu doesn't even see in himself. And for Stu, Sweet Tooth has helped him survive in this crazy world. And I think they complement each other in a lot of ways. I think Stu gives Sweet Tooth a little guidance and makes him focus in a little bit more, and he's also a fan of Sweet Tooth, which Sweet Tooth loves more than anything. And on Stu's end, he's surviving, he's learning how to live in this environment. But I think over the course of the season, you see like, is this the right match? And I'm not sure if it necessarily is. But Joe, you can take it.
Yeah, and for Sweet Tooth, I mean, he's basically continuing his crusade from season one. He wants to be recognized as the greatest killer to ever step foot on planet Earth. And on his way there, he has taken on Stu under his wing. It starts as a mentorship, and as the relationship grows, and he becomes more fond of Stu, and Stu begins to develop himself as a kind of a pretty good little killer in his own right. They go through the several rungs of a father son relationship, including sometimes the baby bird got to leave the nest. So I mean, it's been a wild character arc for these two. They've had quite the relationship together, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Sweet Tooth is a solo act, though. Overall, he likes his fame.
He does
Solo
like his
act.
fame. Yeah, he is a bit of, like he's looking for an opener, not for a co-headliner, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Joe, Mike, obviously there is another person that is a part of your duo, but he only provides the voice, Will Arnett. Obviously, they add his voice in after. But when you guys are on set, like how do you communicate? Joe, are you saying the lines that you're supposed to say? Are
Oh
you
yeah, yeah,
swinging a
absolutely,
machete?
absolutely. Like we want to put everybody in the best position to, give their best performance. And we've said this a few times. Talking to a mumbling wall isn't much of a help in doing that. So, yeah, and for me, I mean, I love it, man. It's a fantastic opportunity to work with some incredibly talented actors, which legitimately is everybody I'm ever in a scene with since I've started this show. So, yeah, it's a great time. We definitely go through all the lines, and then Will go back through and meticulously comb through those takes, and hit his audio takes, and Sweet Tooth is then produced.
When I get to see two performances. I see Joe's on set, and then I see Will when after he's dubbed the voiceover, and when I watch the show. I watched this last weekend. But on set, Joe is he's given an amazing performance. And when he's holding me up against a truck and threatening my life, I'm getting a real performance there. And Joe is scaring the hell out of me, basically. And it's great. I mean, Joe's so great at it. And then offset, Joe has this modulator that makes him sound like Will Arnett, so that it's just natural for me to always.
Always scared of you, always. I think I only have one time for one more question, so I'll just ask you real quickly, and both give me brief answers. How does the scope of this season compare to the first? The first is a lot of world building. Here, there's obviously just the road is right before you guys, and you guys can go in any direction. So talk to me about that.
I think the best way for me to sum it up is that the season one was very much about setting the table, and season two, now it's time to eat. And we've prepared a very delicious meal. We think you will enjoy every course, a little bit dessert on the back end, and we'll see you next time for breakfast.
Just like a video game, when there's a sequel to a game, from Twisted Metal 1 to Twisted Metal 2, you want things bigger, you want it crazier, you want more mayhem and more fun. And I think from season 1 to season 2, that's exactly what happened. It's a crazier show, bloody, gory, insane. The action is insane, and it's all ramped up in this season compared to season 1. So I'm excited for people to see it.
I'm excited for people to see it too, and I don't want to sound biased, but you guys are definitely my favorite love story in the show.
Oh, we appreciate that. Yeah, we appreciate that.
Patty, Saylor, Tiana, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you. My name is Dempsey Pillot, and I'm a writer and critic for a site called Cinefied.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Did you guys practice? That was great in unison. Uh,
In harmony.
Thank you.
it is a pleasure to be speaking with all of you. I was not a fan of the show. So many people have been telling me to watch it, and I just got into it last month before I found out season two was coming out. So I've been like super obsessed. I dived into season two, which all of you guys are relatively new. I'm going to say relatively because Patty, they did something sneaky with the Raven character, which I loved. But I just want to hear if I can hear from all of you. How is it that all of your characters come into the fold? If you could tell me a little bit about what each of your characters or how each of your characters relate to this post-apocalyptic world.
Well, as you know, Raven was there season one, and my character was kind of orchestrating her in that first season, we find out. And I think she's in an apocalypse. She is using all of her like past trauma as her fuel for like control and manipulation and her like way to get ahead in this world. She uses everyone like as her minions to work for her. So that's how she survives.
Look at me. She just goes. I'm so scared. I play Dollface, and Dollface's role in this story is I keep saying like a revolutionary. She's a leader of a fierce group of women who have the goal to tear all of the walls down that separate the rich and snobby insiders and the outsiders who are desperately trying to just like stay alive. So I love her, and I think she's incredible, and I think that she has a fierce group of women around her that are fighting for the same thing. And yeah, it's really, really fun to play with.
Yeah, I think for Mayhem, she's messy and crazy, but you know, the apocalypse is literally all she's ever known. And I don't think we've met someone in the Twisted Metal universe who had presumably spent their entire life going through the apocalypse. So it's really a crazy thought that it's so normal to her, actually. Like the world has been ending for the last 20 years practically, and she's just like, another Tuesday, or you know, she probably doesn't know what day it is, for God's sake. But
No.
but yeah, it's honestly, it's a different like way to play around with the apocalypse in terms of like, she's a kid and she's kind of capable, and but even though she's really really messy, but like she does know what she's doing because she has been raised in this environment her whole life, you know. So that's just like a really fun aspect of my character that we haven't been able to see. But yeah, so in dealing with the apocalypse, I feel like she's relatively known, in the know. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
And then I think I only have time for one more quick question, so maybe a brief answer from all of you. The not to say that the first season was like male heavy, but this one I just love like all the female energy that it has. It's very reminiscent of like the Mad Max Fury Road, where you get like all these powerful female characters. What does that mean to each of you to be in that position and play those roles?
I think it's a super big honor to be a part of a show that like brings women to the forefront, and especially in apocalypse, I do think I mean, I don't want to experience it in real life, but I do think women would be taking control and like have to use their abilities to like run the show. So I just think it's really cool that there was a huge group of women writers in this show too, and so we get to see all of these different colors of like women's personalities and points of view. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, the women were written so well. I think every woman in the story has such depth and to their characters, and it's really, really, really fun to see their journey. I think as Patty said, I think if the apocalypse were to happen, women absolutely would know exactly what to do. Women are so intuitive, they are smart, they are strong, and they're strong together. So I really loved being a part of that.
I genuinely just feel lucky because in the search of, you know, making this crazy badass group of females, they literally got the most badass actual females in real life, and it doesn't seem like it's ever a hard task for either of you to just like own your shit, own your stage, own your character. You guys are like what like you guys encompass what the dolls are encompassing. Like you're just strong, good women.
I'm not a
It's just, but you are to
Bookkeeper.
me, Patty.
Bookkeeper.
You are to me. You're a pretty doll.
Like I agree with everything that you guys said, and it's not just because my wife is in the other room and she's probably listening right now. No, guys, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on your excellent work this season, and I cannot wait to see what all of you do next. Take care.
Thank you so much.
So I asked this because I'm genuinely curious. You guys are coming into this world that's already been built out for you. What is that like? How do you find your footing? And I would love to hear from all of you, especially like what is your character's role and motivation this season?
Well, it was cool to like step into a world that was already kind of like the motor was already going. Um, and MJ had a really like strong idea about what it was, and it was nice to collaborate with him and Sean about where to go with these characters. And yeah, I think that's most of the question, right? Yeah, it was helpful just to have a showrunner and a producer who really loved the world and the game, and to like piggyback off of their enthusiasm and take a leap, you know?
Yeah, and at the same time, I mean, I found it personally for Vermin really freeing because we'd never met this character, or heard them talk, or know anything about them. So it's kind of like blank canvas. There's not a lot of pressure in that respect. Of course, there's like the fans that know the world, but they don't know this character yet, so that was okay.
For me, it was like right from the very first moment that I got the breakdown for the character, and he was listed as a guy who kills people and sucks their souls and talks in their voices. It was so imaginative and so exciting. And I'd played the game before, but I only played the first game. And so I did a bunch of research on what Grimm was in the games, but in the show, I feel like something that MJ and Sean do really well is they kind of have a good amount of stuff that's from the games, but then there's enough of a departure that they expand upon that, or they add to it. And Grimm was just too good of a opportunity not to jump in full-throatedly.
And Richard, you spoke about like who your character is. Lisa, Michael, I would love to hear like for people who don't know your characters, aren't familiar with the games, like talk to me about your character. You don't have to say whether they're good or bad, but like how big of a role do they play in the season?
Oh, I think this is the cool thing about this season. All the characters kind of have equal footing as we're all gunning for this wish in this tournament. And Axel, he's a half man, half machine, gasoline powered killer. Yeah, he's a wild man, and he's kind of a product of the apocalypse in many ways. Outsider, and trying to find his way home.
And Vermin is like a, maniacal bug woman from hell. She's an exterminator. She drives an exterminator van. She wants to, destroy all the human race and have the world be repopulated by bugs. Just normal girl stuff.
My wife is the same way. No, I'm kidding. No, all right. One quick question. I think this will be my last one. If you guys had to participate in a real life tournament like this, what would your wish be?
Ooh.
I could just say that my wish would be not to die, because if I truly was participating in a tournament like this, it wouldn't end well for me. Let's just say that. Let's just say I've had more, parking tickets than any one person ever could. I don't do well in a car.
If I had one wish, it'd be for season 3.
That's a good answer. Man, yeah, like not dying, peace. I have answered this a couple of times. I also am a diehard soccer fan, and I would love for Holland to win the World Cup because they've come close so many times, and it's always really hard for somebody who cheers for that team.
Even in the apocalypse, right? Maybe
why not? Why can't we play soccer in the apocalypse? What's the matter?
Yeah.
Why not?
Pleasure to be speaking with you today. I just want to say I am obsessed with this show, having never played any of the games. So,
Perfect. That's
yeah,
great.
I think I'm your target demographic here. And that is actually my first question for you is how, to my understanding, the games have very little plot. It's just driving, it's one of need for speed, one of those kind of just pretend you're driving on the road and causing chaos, which I love, of course. But how do you create a world out of that? Like, talk to me about your process of not only building a world in season one, but expanding upon it in the second season.
I mean, first of all, when adapting this show, the first thing I thought of was like, okay, there is obviously there's like some story in terms of when you pick a character, you learn the backstory, right? That's like the most story you kind of get. So for me, when adapting it, I was like, I just want to adapt the feeling of playing the game. I want to adapt the fun, the excitement, the thrill, and just the big goofy smile you have when you play the game. That's what I want to adapt, is just that feeling. So when we were adapting the story, the biggest through line is really John and Quiet's relationship, the love story. That's the backbone of the show. So every episode starts with where are John and Quiet in their relationship? Where does it start and where does it end? And that's really like how every episode begins, is thinking about that from that story place. And then we start building it out. Like we have an episode later in the season that's like, okay, John and Quiet have the worst day at the absolute worst time. If you've seen the show, you could probably guess what episode that is. And we kind of go from there and we kind of arc their season that way, looking at the ups and downs and twists and turns of their relationship through through the tournament and through, kind of where they started at the beginning of the season and after. And then we look at what characters push and pull them. How do they react to these characters? What relationships can further that? Who can they bounce off of? Who's going to torture them? Who's going to tempt them and things like that?
And so you've kind of gone into a little bit of also what I wanted to ask you in terms of like scope of this the season and the overall series. How would you say season two compares in terms of scope to season one? Are you guys, I mean, like season one has a bunch of breadcrumbs leading to where the show's at now. Do you know where you want the show to end or how much further you want it to go? Have you looked down the road, for
Oh,
lack of a better term?
Oh, totally. No, I love it. So, I mean, obviously, the first part of your question, I'll say season two is obviously much bigger than season one. I mean, season one was very much we're setting up the characters, we're setting up the world. There's a lot of like information to understand of like we're post-apocalyptic. Here's John's role, here's his relationship with Quiet. Season two is like, okay, now you know all that. Now let's have some goddamn fun. And now we have more characters, we have a tournament. Now this is kind of our like cinematic universe moment because now we're you've met everyone. Now let's throw them all into a boiling pot and see what happens when they're all together. But now we're like making the world bigger. And if you watch when you watch the full season, and for fans that are will watch the full season, I think it's very clear where the season will go moving forward. So I do have plans for season three. I have an idea for season four I'm very excited about that I think when fans hear it, they'll be like, oh, hell yes. There is a line that one of the characters says that I think very clearly expands what my ideas are moving forward. But look, I think that what's so cool about our show and our world is that, and I love world building, is that I think that we can do as many seasons as the ideas won't stop coming in this world. There's so many characters, new and old. The roster is deep in the Twisted Metal lore that there are lots to pull from that we can keep bringing out. And I think that if the fans keep watching, I'll keep making.
Well, I will keep watching for as long as I keep making, Michael. No, I think that's all the time that I have for you today. But thank you so much for making such a great, funny show. And I'm going to tell everybody I know to go check it out.
Thank you,
If you haven't already, and then when season two comes out as well.
Thank you, Dempsey. I really
Okay.
appreciate that.
Congratulations, man. Have a wonderful day.
Cheers.